Hello, and thank you for watching this regional update for the southern U.S. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. We are shifting toward a quieter and a milder pattern across much of the lower 48 as we transition into next week, so I'm going to do my best not to overcomplicate things here as we head through this forecast video. As I replay the satellite loop here, Zeta and our upper level disturbance quickly moving off across the northeast and eventually over the Atlantic Ocean as we head through the rest of the day today. High pressure coming in on the backside. That's got cooler temperatures and clearing skies moving into the southern U.S. We've got Texas and Oklahoma breaking into clear skies today. Oklahoma off into Arkansas and Louisiana. We do have some low, kind of grungy clouds accompanying the cooler air mass as it slides in across the southeast. So likely a gloomy start to our Friday, but sunshine is on the way as we head later into the day. Now here's a look at the radar picture. Again, rain and snow across New York, Pennsylvania, eastward to the Atlantic, but that is quickly moving off to the north and to the east, leading us into a dry next 24 to 48 hours. A look at the temperatures here. Again, you can see the cooler air mass sliding in. We've got 20s and 30s as you make your way back across Texas and Oklahoma north into the central and northern plains. But elsewhere, we still got 50s and some 60s as you make your way across the southeast into the Carolinas and then down into Florida. Now, as we look at the last 72 hours of precipitation, as advertised, Zeta and our cutoff low combined to produce some very heavy rain across the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, across the Red River down to the Gulf, and then up toward the Ohio River Valley, and then now across the Northeast as we head into Friday. And of course, with the temperature disparities, we had some wintry impacts on the backside there, a significant ice storm across parts of Oklahoma down to northern Texas, and then of course quite a bit of accumulating snow accompanied by some high winds as you make your way back into New Mexico and the Texas Panhandle. The heaviest of the rain here concentrated across the Louisiana here, the boot of Louisiana up toward the Mississippi and Alabama border there. That's what we're talking about, in excess of 6 inches of rain and some significant winds creating quite a bit of damage as you make your way up through the southeast here. Again, a very fast-moving storm, so the wind field was able to really accompany Zeta for quite some time inland. So a lot of tree damage, a lot of power and utility damage combined from Zeta and the ice storm here. So certainly good that we have a quieter week coming up here so we can begin to dry out and start to make some repairs here, clear out some of the damage, and get the utilities running again for these folks. So the storm total here for freezing rain, 2 inches of freezing rain accumulation here west of Oklahoma. From Enid down toward the Altus and the Lawton area. So really a historic ice storm here. These are incredible accumulation totals here. And then with some of the winds on the backside of that storm, again, just leading to a lot of power outages and quite a bit of destructive tree damage across the region, really on par with what we saw from Zeta and its hurricane wind fields. So we'll look at the hazards map, and again, much of what we're seeing on the map from the National Weather Service today is either temperature or wind related. We've got wind advisories, high wind watches across the northern plains, but then as we talk about areas closer to the south, we do have a freeze warning, frost advisory across parts of eastern Oklahoma down into a couple counties here of northern Texas. We're going to see a shot of cold air come in as we get from Sunday into Monday and Tuesday, and so we are going to see our first freezing temperatures here a little bit further south as we head into the back half of the weekend. We can see that shot of cool air and our transition to a cooler or a milder pattern next week as we look at the 500 millibar height anomaly pattern. Again, here is the little trough now from our cutoff low swinging out of here and Zeta. And then this is the shot of cool air that comes in here Sunday into Monday, primarily for the eastern U.S. It's this little trough, but then ridging on the backside settles in as we head into mid next week. This is a warmer and milder pattern for just about everyone across the lower 48. So temperature anomalies, the forecast over the next 5 days on the left, and then the 5 days that follow on the right. So as we head through Wednesday, November 3rd, we'll still have a bit of a cooler bias across the eastern half of the country. Again, a lot of that from the cool shot that we've got right now, and then that reinforcing shot across eastern half of the area as we get into Sunday and Monday. But then transitioning into next week, much more mild across the region and drier. This is the next 5 days of total accumulated precipitation. And again, just the opportunity for some departing showers and storms across the southeast. Otherwise, a very dry week starting off here across the lower 48. So we can see the pattern here with the precipitable water forecast, and again, much of the deeper moisture now being shoved well off across the Gulf of Mexico down to the Caribbean by the most recent front that has passed through, and then this reinforcing shot that comes in. Again, a reinforcing shot of cooler and drier air coming in Sunday into Monday. And this really takes the humid and moist air mass well down to the Caribbean as we head into early next week. So then it becomes a game of when do we open the Gulf back up? When are we going to see the northward transport of deep moisture again? Right now, it doesn't look like it happens until near the end of the next 7 to 10 days. We may see some west coast troughing, may see a big pattern shift that leads to, once again, opening the Gulf of Mexico. But this is way out there as we get into the November 8th, 9th, and 10th time frame. So as I said, we're going to avoid overcomplicating it by talking about a potential pattern change here in the next 10 days and talk about what we have right in front of us, which is a couple windy days, a couple days with volatile temperatures before we settle into a dry and mild pattern heading into next week. So as we get into the day today, winds should be really calm across the region. Saturday is when we could see parts of Oklahoma and Texas beginning gusting out of the south, around 10 to 20 knots. And then as we head into Sunday, that's when we could start to see some of the reinforcing shot of cooler air and maybe some breezy northwest winds. Again, maybe 10 to 20 knots across parts of the south, transitioning into the southeast as we get into Sunday evening. But much of the stronger winds going to be confined to the northern plains into the Midwest, really looking like a great next 7 to 10 days across the south. So here's a look at the precipitation forecast as we go through the next 10 days. Again, Zeta and the upper level system, the cutoff low, quickly depart as we head through the day today. High pressure on the back side. That's going to have us dry as we head through the evening today into tomorrow. And that starts off a pretty dry pattern for us here in the south. Here comes the next front, potentially bringing some showers and storms to the southeast as we head into Sunday afternoon and evening. That brings that reinforcing shot of cooler air. And now high pressure settles in for good as we head through the middle part of the week, leading to much drier conditions. Now we'll have to watch as this area of high pressure slowly pivots off to the east toward the Atlantic coast. We could start to bring some moisture back inland here as we get toward the end of next week. But again, this is after a dry next 7 to 8 days. Again, badly needed across the region. Total precipitation between now and noon on Wednesday, keeping it dry across the south. Just the chance for those Sunday afternoon and evening showers, maybe a few storms as that front sweeps through the area. And then, of course, not talking about anything in the way of snow accumulation across the south as we head through the next 7 days. We'll finish with a look at your high temperatures here on Friday. Again, cooler air settling in across the region, so we'll get some sunshine for many of us, but it will be a crisp, cool October-like day here, 60s and 70s across the region as we head into tomorrow. Reinforcing shot of cool air on Sunday knocks us back into the 50s and 60s, everyone except you down here in Florida and southern Georgia. The reinforcing shot of cool air really settles in on Monday, but then we'll start warming up pretty quickly as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, and deeper into next week. Real quick, I mentioned that we're going to be talking about some sub-freezing temperatures. We have those freeze warnings in effect, frost advisories across eastern Oklahoma into parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. Where you see the white line here, this is for Monday morning, waking up on Monday morning, since we won't talk to you again until now and between now and then, as you're waking up and watching Eric's Ag Forecast video on Monday morning. Kind of from the Red River through central Oklahoma, and then skirting the northern borders here of Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, on into the Carolinas. That's where we're talking about the potential for some sub-freezing temperatures as we wake up on Monday morning. Have a great day, a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you again on Monday morning.